Guards member that he doesn't fucking know about, doesn't give a shit about at all. He knew Charlie Kirk personally. He was homies with Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk did a lot for him, and he still was like, oh, the ballroom.
West Virginia by one of the biggest margins of any president anywhere. And it's, these are great people. I love the people of West Virginia. I love the people of our country. But I haven't given it any thought, but it sounds like something I could do, yeah. It's very raw.
Anyway, this is actually kind of crazy given how he was expected to blow this wide open and making it a talking point, but it goes to show you he probably doesn't know / remember it happened, bro. This is proof he's lost it. Yeah, was the ballroom his now watch this drive Bush moment? Kind of. Just as though Bush did not give a shit about the war on terror. And that's why he said, now watch this drive, cared more about golf, right? And yes, these clips that you're sending me, I already watched yesterday. I talked about this extensively yesterday. The background of the shooter, the background of the Afghan shooter, and how similar that was to another shooting that took place earlier this year by Jamal Wali, another Afghan mercenary brought to the U.S. after Kabul fell, who shot 2 cops in Virginia, in Fairfax, Virginia. Listen to the incredible rant he delivers before he snaps, then watch how smoothly he draws and racks his weapon. Obviously a professional killer at his wit's end. Yeah, he literally says, I should have joined the fucking Taliban. That's what he literally said in the video. Incredibly sad and disturbing video depicting the violent end of an Afghan man who made the mistake of working for the special forces in the CIA. I should have served with the fucking Taliban, he says, seconds before he draws on the cop. Yeah. But I don't get it. I thought the trans issue was going to be a real winner. I thought the trans issue was going to be a real mover and shaker. It's just so shocking to me because Trump keeps saying everybody's transgender, and he banned transgender athletes from participating in NCAA competitions, and yet people are still very upset at the way things are going. What is it? I thought it was actually undocumented migrants. I thought it was actually the migrants that were the problem here. I thought it was the trans people that were the problem here. What the fuck happened? It turns out all of the mass apprehension of migrants is actually not solving any of the issues that many Americans were facing in terms of affordability, and neither did the trans thing. But that was the focus, right? You got your culture war. You won the culture war, right? You won the election. It turns out most people, by and large, don't give a fuck about any of this stuff. They, as a matter of fact, the ones that do care about this stuff care about it in the opposite direction. The people that do care about this go, why are you harming trans people? The people that do care about this go, why are you fucking blackbagging and kidnapping my goddamn neighbors? And this is something that I will continue stressing over and over again. If you hear from anyone, whether they present themselves as centrist, whether they present themselves as apolitical, right-wing or far-right, if they spend any amount of time telling you that the culture war shit is the most relevant and most important thing that you have to focus on, you must understand that those people are unserious, and at best, they're delusional and they're stupid, and they've been duped themselves and they're trying to dupe you in the same way. Or at worst, they are cynical, okay? They are cynically advancing the culture war narrative because there is no real solution to the actual pain points, the actual pressure points that harm you, whether it be the affordability of healthcare. It's insane. But the difference there, of course, is that he's leaning into pre-existing forms of systematic violence, whereas Charlie Kirk being assassinated is outside of that structure, right? Charlie Kirk didn't get shot and killed, or Charlie Kirk wasn't assassinated by the government. He wasn't killed by well, as far as we know, Charlie Kirk wasn't assassinated by the American government. Okay, why are you promoting pro-assassination nonsense? Dude, stop it. Stop it. Okay, your incapability of understanding my current analysis on the way that people move on from certain issues is not my problem. Okay, you go clip it, go talk about how Hassan is fucking celebrating Charlie Kirk's assassination or whatever the fuck you want to do, but this is analysis. Okay, please. I know it's a filter. I know it's very difficult for you to comprehend, but analysis is not justification. Okay, I just came onto the stream and the first thing I see is you showing these lame videos. Well, okay, well then fucking shut up, okay, and keep watching, and maybe instead of chirping, because clearly your brain cannot do two things at the same time, instead of typing in the fucking chat, force yourself to hear what I'm saying. So the reason why a lot of these people can get away with like demanding more police violence against black people, against brown people, is because systematic violence is normalized in the eyes of people, right? The state has a monopoly on violence, and no matter how violent those mechanisms of enforcement can be, no matter how disproportionate and targeted those systematic forms of violence can be, for the broader audiences, for the normies, for the average person, they have a degree of normalcy for that kind of violence, right? They look at that and go, oh, that's just normal. That's just how cops operate. They have to do it. Maybe they go a little heavy-handed with it, but they have to do that nonetheless. Whereas this is a lone actor, right? This is a lone wolf, or this is not a non-state actor as far as we know, right? As far as we know. And that is precisely the reason why when someone talks about it or is coming across as like celebrating it or whatever, then there is a lot of pushback against it, especially from those who are beneficiaries of the structures of violence, or at least have a level of privilege where they don't actually find themselves in the receiving end of said structural violence, or maybe they're oblivious to the types of structural violence that they actually experience, like, you know, poor white people, for example, that think that the current capitalist organization of the economy doesn't actually create a tremendous amount of harm in their lives, as long as they can preoccupy their minds with the kinds of direct forms of violence, systematized violence from police against other groups, black people and brown people. Okay? That's it, though. That's the reason why one side can get away with saying these sorts of things. This is a dynamic that I actually explain when talking about Charlie Kirk in the immediate aftermath of his assassination, where I kept repeating to people over and over again that, like, Charlie Kirk can say violent things without actually making it seem as though he's an advocate for unimaginable forms of violence, because he's leaning into the pre-existing forms of violence that the state dishes out. For Americans, it is not seen as violent when the average American says, oh, we should bomb Iran right now, even though that is unimaginably violent. That is advocacy for a form of violence that is far more consequential than like one person killing another person. Let's be real. You are literally saying the state should go and assassinate people thousands of miles away, 200, 300 people at a fucking time. Babies, children, doctors, nurses, teachers, academics, right? It's the falsely attributed to Stalin quote, which is like a million deaths, one death is a tragedy, a million deaths is a statistic. So that's what it is, right? That's what it is. That's the people do not have the capacity to understand this stuff. So they only laser in on direct forms of violence that they think is outside of the they only attribute violence to things that are abnormal, right? Things that are abnormal, things that the state is not doing. There's also obviously the social murder concept that we've talked about quite a bit. When the Brian Thompson alleged Luigi Mangione shooter dynamic was taking place, social murder is seen as a norm. Even if you're the CEO of a company that is actually responsible for the deaths of so many people, you're just doing your fucking job. Whereas if someone goes and shoots you, obviously that is someone breaking the system. And people have a very negative reaction towards that, unless they are people who have been directly harmed by either Brian Thompson or someone like Brian Thompson, right? Someone actually simply, doing their role in today's incredibly cruel society. At which point, they also see that as a a moment of righteous vindication. Now, obviously, my position is that adventurism is ineffective as far as making change, right? The propaganda of the deed is not a very effective mechanism to make change. I mean, look no further than what happened in the aftermath of Luigi Mangioni's alleged assassination of Brian Thompson, the CEO of United Healthcare. There hasn't really been a lot of change in the direction of more healthcare. If anything, there's been less healthcare in the hands of the Republican government. That was a big deal for the fucking government shutdown that just took place, right? They are cutting the pre-existing ACA subsidies and making healthcare premiums skyrocket in this fucking country. The only way to enact change is with steadfast organizing, okay, is by creating mechanisms of pressure, mechanisms of pushback. That's just the only way that you can do it. You have to organize the working class, okay? That's how you do it. No disrespect to the anarchists who do a lot of mutual aid and direct action, but that is the reality. So, should the working class organize themselves or be organized by capital owners? What do you mean? What do you think my argument is there? What do you think my belief is there? Of course, the working class should organize itself. But in the United States of America, you also have to pay close attention to the material conditions. You have to pay close attention to where the masses are in terms of their own personal identification. The working class do not see themselves as an exploited proletariat, but instead temporarily embarrassed millionaires and billionaires in this country, and they have no class consciousness. The one class that has actually class consciousness or act out in accordance to their class interests is the capital owners in this country, all the way from the petite bourgeoisie, the small business owners, down to the mega corporation owning, board sitting CEOs in the executive suite. And they are consistently reinforcing the structures of dominance that actually dominate the working class, that divide the working class, that make themselves believe that they have an alternative out there within the confines of capitalism. Okay. Anyway, this is the last video I'm going to play until we get to the news. And here it is. We are Charlie Kirk in library prank. Even prank accounts are doing this now. This is hard. It's hard not. It's a bop. It's literally a bop. I'm sorry. It's a fucking bop. It's just a bop. It's a bop. Yeah. When you lost the annoying prank bros, it's over. Okay. This might make me a woke skull. Get the hell out of a library. Okay, chat. Calm down. If you think that prank is funny, you're literally 12. Well, it seems like there was 1 million plus 12-year-olds that actually like that. And yes, it's on TikTok. So there are plenty of fucking 12-year-olds that are memeing about it. Anyway. It even breached the new YN meme. I don't even understand the new YN meme. POV, you're next to YN who got owned. YN means your name, right? Or something. Like I tried to understand what this fucking meme is. Isn't this like, it means your name, right? No, not Y/N means something different than YN. I know what YN means, dumbasses. Y/N is different. Oh my God, why are you guys fucking arguing with me on this? It's a fanfic thing, okay? No. YN means young N-word, okay? Y/N, on the other hand, means your name in fanfic, okay? And in this context, they are talking about not young N-word. They're talking about Y/N, which means your name. as in self-inserts in fan fiction. Okay? You're next to your name, who got owned in a college debate and started crying so the 8'9" Alpha Wolf Daddy CEO Schuster debate opponent. Yes. It still confuses me, though. They were about to take your head clean off. I know. Trump just deleted all of Biden's auto pen orders. Okay, we're going to do that. Don't worry. Thank God you are a politics understander, because otherwise your music taste would lead you to be Israeli. Oh, no. Oh, no. That's crazy. Why are you going to hit me with that? How are you going to hit me with that? It's fucked up. Spiritually Israeli music taste is the most aggro.
Anguish.
It's the worst thing I've ever gotten called from this chat, dude. That's fucked up. Anyway, all right, let's get into it. So, the two National Guard's members, one was a woman, the other one was a man, were shot a couple days ago in Washington, D.C., near the White House by an Afghan national who was, as we found out yesterday, a member of a CIA death squad in Afghanistan, and was properly vetted on numerous occasions, and came to the United States of America in 2021 with a bunch of other collaborators of the American occupation in Afghanistan. So, one of the two members of the National Guard that got shot succumbed to her wounds yesterday, and Donald Trump announced the death of the National Guardsman Sarah Beckstrom like this.
And the horror of our entire nation at the terrorist attack yesterday in our nation's capital, in which a savage monster gunned down two service members in the West Virginia National Guard who were deployed as part of the D.C. task force, which has done such an incredible job. I mean, until yesterday, we literally had no incidents for many months. It was the safest place imaginable, and this is a different kind of crime. This is a really bad crime. Millions of Americans are praying for those heroes and their families, and I must unfortunately tell you that just seconds before I went on, right now, I heard that Sarah Beckstrom of West Virginia, one of the guardsmen that we're talking about, highly respected, young.
Dude, why is Trump also getting that same audio bug that CNN has? What the fuck is going on?
Magnificent person. Started service in June of 2023. Outstanding in every way. She's just passed away. She's no longer with us. She's looking down at us right now. Her parents are with her. It's just happened. She was savagely attacked. She's dead. She's not with us. Incredible person. Outstanding in every single way, in every department. Just horrible. As you know, the other young man is fighting for his life. He's in very bad shape. He's fighting for his life, and hopefully we'll get better news with respect to him.
Some liberals thought Trump was behind this attack to boost his support. Yeah, it's just not going to work, though. I don't think this is going to have a rallying around the flag effect. Maybe I'm wrong, but it's just not. And yeah, he's definitely cooked. No matter what he does, and I don't think he's going to. I don't think he's going to work through the motions in an instance like this, in the way that like a competent governor would. Right? He's Trump, so of course he's going to do Trump shit. And the entire reason why people are upset at him is because he's been doing too much Trump shit. He's been molesting the money too much, for example. Right? So Trump only has one speed, which is do more Trump shit. So people are going to get mad. Some are going to get mad at him for, aggressively stamping out like visas and things of that nature. Other people are going to continue getting mad at him because he's not doing anything to solve the affordability crisis that he won an election on promising to solve. And things are only going to get worse.
And the monster that did this is also in serious condition. But we won't even talk about him. As you may know, DHS has confirmed that the suspect is an Afghan national flown here by the previous administration, who was such a bad administration.
Overnight, the brazen ambush of 2 National Guard members.
Yeah. It's his disapproval is even worse, I think, than Brandon's. Biden in November 2021, his approval was 42%. His disapproval was 55%. Biden in November 2024, his approval was 37%. His disapproval was 58%. New Gallup poll on how Americans rate Trump's performance as president is now lower than that. 60% disapproval, 36% approval. 36% was Biden's all-time worst approval in Gallup. His disapproval was still 2 points better, and that came in July 24th, right after he tanked the debate and was being pushed out of the race. Trump is now less popular than Brandon was at his lowest. As in, when Americans, after experiencing 1.5 years of negative real wage growth, finally came to the fucking conclusion that Biden's brain was leaking out of his ears, and they were like, enough is enough. What the fuck are we doing here? That level of disapproval, and Trump is worse than that. This is not a coalition that can stand. Okay? This is not a coalition that can stand. It's so over. Trump sees that. He knows that. No matter how many sycophantic losers are surrounding him, constantly telling him shit is actually sweet, Mr. President, people love you. This is, George W. Bush leaving office numbers with independents and Democrats. Okay? And the Republican voters are the only thing that is keeping his approval rating at the level that it's at. Okay? Do you approve or disapprove of the way that Donald Trump is handling his job as president? We have to realize that some of these people are basically in a fucking cult. Okay? Many of these people are basically in a fucking cult where they're just like, nope. Nope. It's just no matter what he does, I still love him. This is reminiscent of the last Trump tenure. Okay? The last Trump term, he barely got below 80%. He barely got below 90%. And I don't think ever got below 80% in terms of approval from the Republicans. Okay? But fear not, because this doesn't actually mean that he has a tremendous amount of approval overall. Okay? Because self-identifying Republicans saying that Donald Trump is great doesn't necessarily mean anything when there's not enough self-identifying Republicans out there, okay? They make up a tiny fraction of American society. But on the independent side, he's at 25%, and on the Democrat side, obviously, he's at 3%, okay? How many dislike it because he's not awful enough? A very, very small number. That's an irrelevant number of people. Yeah. Asked whether he'd attend the funeral of the National Guard member killed in a DC attack, Trump didn't offer condolences, didn't acknowledge the family, didn't commit to showing up. He immediately pivoted to bragging about how popular he is in West Virginia, which is, again, more Trump, right? More Trump. This is how he is. It's one speed. And if you're seemingly winning on your agenda, then that's fine by the independents that also like certain parts of your agenda. But if you're a fucking loser and you're doing this, then people are going to be like, what the hell are you doing?
Stages obviously here, but do you plan to attend Sarah's funeral?
I haven't thought about it yet, but it certainly is something I could conceive of. I love West Virginia. You know, I wonder.
I mean, this guy didn't even talk about Charlie Kirk, right? He didn't even give a shit about Charlie Kirk enough. So much so that like they couldn't even come up with like a competent singular message on the Charlie Kirk stuff, right? Very, very difficult for this man to offer condolences, like sincere condolences to some random national